What a very good Sunday afternoon to everybody, and hope that you are doing well. And today I want to get back to the study of the Gospel of Mark and to pick up where we left off last time in Mark chapter 1. Today we're going to start in Mark chapter 1 and in verse 35. And this is after Jesus has begun his ministry, after John the Baptist had prepared the way for Jesus, but then John the Baptist was arrested by Herod, and then Jesus began his ministry, and so Jesus began gathering some disciples and began teaching, and we saw some miracles that he was performing and healing a lot of people. Jesus was doing miracles to show that he was truly the Son of God, the Christ, the Messiah, and that his teaching is truly from God, and so we see him going about as much as he can, traveling to teach the people and performing many miracles and casting out demons and healing people of illnesses and sicknesses. And we had last seen there in verse 34 that he had healed many who were sick and had various diseases and cast out many demons, and he would not allow the demons to speak because they knew him. It is then in verse 35 that in the morning of the next day, now in the morning, having risen a long while before daylight. So Jesus was up really early. He must have been quite a morning person to be up that early. But he got up way before daylight, and he goes out and departed to a solitary place. Jesus went to a deserted place, a place to be alone, where he could, as it says, there he prayed. Jesus was up early in the morning, maybe even before many other people. I'm not really sure. But nevertheless, Jesus went to a place where he could be alone. A place where he could be alone with God the Father, and where Jesus could pray to God the Father and spend that quiet, intimate time praying and talking with God. And that's an example to all of us, of course, of making time to talk with God, whether it's early in the morning, whether it's in the middle of the day, or whether it's late at night. Finding time, making time, especially to be alone in prayer, wherever that may be, whenever that may be. And also praying with other people too, like family and friends and brethren, but especially spending time alone as well. And then as Jesus was praying, spending that time early in the morning, we're then told that Simon and those who were with Jesus began searching for him. Where is Jesus? Where did he go? Have you seen him? Have you seen him up this morning? And, I didn't see him. And so they're wondering where he is. And they find him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is looking for you." Where have you been? What have you been doing? Everybody's looking for you. But he says to them, actually, verse 38, "Let us go into the next towns, that I may preach there also, because for this purpose I have come forth." Jesus says, that's great that everybody's, looking for me. Jesus has been here right now and been teaching and preaching and performing miracles, but now Jesus says it's time to go somewhere else too. It's time to move on to the next towns, because Jesus wants to continue to preach to more and more people. As he says, "For this purpose I have come." And so Jesus was preaching in their synagogues throughout all of Galilee and casting out demons. What we see in Mark's gospel, especially even so far early on, is the powerful working of God through Jesus. And, Jesus' yes, authoritative, masterful teaching and preaching, but also the power of God, the miracles, and especially we've seen so far, how much it talks about the demons that Jesus was casting out. And here again, we find that Mark specifically mentions over and over that Jesus was casting out demons. They knew who Jesus is, or Jesus was, and so Jesus wouldn't let them speak, and they thought Jesus was there to punish them or destroy them. And so we see the power of God over Satan and over the workers of Satan, the demons of Satan. But Jesus was casting them out one by one as he went along. Well, then, verse 40, as it says, Jesus is going about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and casting out demons, and Jesus had been healing many people. It says that a leper. So a leper came to Jesus, imploring him, pleading with Jesus, kneeling down to him and saying to him, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." What a statement of faith. Look at the faith of this man, a leper. I mean, he had obviously heard about Jesus, maybe even seen Jesus, heard his teachings, heard of his teachings, seen some miracles from a distance, or heard of his miracles. Whatever this man knew up to this point about Jesus was enough to give this leper the understanding, the belief, the faith that Jesus, if Jesus wanted to, as he says, if you are willing, that's if Jesus was willing, but he believed that Jesus could make him clean, could heal him of his leprosy. Then Jesus, moved with compassion, Jesus was touched by this man's, I believe, by this man's faith. I mean, yeah, of course, the situation, this man being a leper, and, that's not a good, state to be in. But I think the faith of this man, especially as he comes and says this to Jesus, really touched Jesus's heart. And so Jesus, being moved with compassion, stretched out his hand, and notice this, Jesus touched him. Jesus reaches out his hand and touches this leper, which was something you weren't supposed to do. Jesus touched him and said to the man, "I am willing. Be cleansed." Jesus said, "I am willing. Be cleansed." As soon as Jesus had spoken, immediately the leprosy left him and he was cleansed. This leper comes and shows great faith in Jesus. Jesus is moved with compassion. And again, Jesus touches this man, which you weren't supposed to touch a leper. Of course, Jesus, knowing that he's going to heal this man, could. Jesus touches him and says, "I am willing. Be cleansed." And immediately, right as Jesus said that, we're not talking, okay, go home and after a few days it'll start to subside, or maybe in a week or two you'll start to clear up. No, as soon as Jesus said it, immediately, this man's leprosy was cleansed, all back to normal. And that was not something that just happened. That was the power of God cleansing this man. And Jesus then, verse 43, Jesus strictly warned this man and sent him away at once and said to him, "See that you tell no one," or see that you say nothing to anyone, "but go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer for your cleansing those things which Moses commanded as a testimony to them." This man is now cleansed. The law had requirements of lepers and what they were to do, and then if they were cleansed, they had to get checked out by the priests and, offerings and such, if they were truly cleansed and healed and everything was back to normal. So Jesus says, okay, don't tell anybody. Don't say anything to anybody about how you're cleansed, but go show yourself to the priest, offer the sacrifices, the offerings according to the law. You're cleansed, but just don't tell people how. But in a funny, not so funny way, I don't know, how serious this was. But verse 45, it says, however, this man went out and began to proclaim it freely and to spread the matter so that Jesus could no longer openly enter the city, but was outside in deserted places, and they came to him from every direction. I mean, Jesus is now so swamped by popularity, by people wanting to come out to see him, to hear him, to be healed by him. And so, Jesus didn't want this man telling anybody. Jesus, we could say, well, why did he do that? Why did he say that? Well, we could give any number of reasons. Maybe it was just Jesus wanted to do it himself, as he went along, and now it's being spread, and now there's so many people coming. Jesus can't get into the city. It wasn't that Jesus was trying to hide who he is, but Jesus was trying, if you will, to, and I don't know if you want to say systematically, take his time and deal with people as they come without getting swamped like he was, and then had to stay out in deserted places, but they were coming to him from every direction. But that shows at least their curiosity, which was, again, part of what these miracles was about, was to get the attention of the people. To know this isn't something that happens every day, so it should tell you something about who Jesus is and what he's saying, what he's teaching. And so people, thankfully, were coming to Jesus. This man was cleansed of leprosy, rejoicing, I'm sure, spreading the matter, telling people what Jesus had done for him. And even though, he wasn't supposed to, but imagine the joy of having that leprosy miraculously cleansed, believing Jesus could do it, and he does it. What an amazing miracle, what an amazing time. And so Jesus is continuing to go about teaching and preaching and healing and casting out demons, and now he's healed a leper, healed him. And so Jesus is continuing to show who he is. The Christ, the Messiah, the Son of God, come from God, working in the power and authority of God and in the love of God. And thanks be to God for that. Well, next week, Lord willing, we'll pick up and see who comes to Jesus in our next encounter. Let's continue to grow in faith and in knowledge and in grace in the Lord Jesus Christ, and to follow him in faith, believing, reading these things of what he did so long ago, and believing them as if we just saw them today. Follow Jesus. Give God the glory. God bless.